Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is lesson 8.6, solving quadratic equations by factoring. I want to remind you that the previous lesson was about solving the quadratic equations by graphing. For class discussion, it's going to be from Monday from 10 to 12, and for more questions you can ask every day or any day you want from 2 to 3. I want you to keep taking your notes. You need to have your notebook, your pencil and pen to prepare yourself for this video so you can have more practice and you get the benefit of the lesson. As well, you have some worksheets and resources. You can find them on the folder on Edmodo. Let's start. Bismillah. Let's start with this worksheet. I want you to try to fill it, and maybe you can just think about it if you don't want to fill it on a paper or something. Think about these questions. This will help you improve and will help you understand and to help you connect the lessons. Learning intentions. After this lesson, you will be able to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So as you remember, we took a lesson before about graphing. Today it's about factoring. For success criteria, we have to define the zero product property. Then we use it to solve quadratic equations. Then we will solve quadratic equations by factoring. And then we solve real-life applications related to the topic. Bismillah. To solve the quadratic equations, we need to know this term, a zero product property. Please keep it in mind. That's simply as saying that if two quantities are multiplied and the answer is zero, that means one of them should be zero. So here we have A and B multiplied and the answer is zero. So there is no other option beside that one of them is zero. And that's trivial, and that's what we're gonna count on and depend to solve the quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, then for example, 1, we have the use of a zero product property. We have two brackets, as you can see, multiplied, and the answer is 0. So to simply say that, we just need to say that one of the quantities will be 0. That leaves us with two options. It's x minus 7 equals to 0 or x plus 2 equals to 0. Then we solve the equations and we have 7 and negative 2. Now these are two solutions, 7 and negative 2. How do we make sure that the answer is correct? We have to use the zero product property again, substitute in the equation, and make sure the answer is 0. Pause the video, check your notes, and go solve, check it out. Then you can continue to example 2. Okay, now let's start with example 2. As you remember, example 2, we will use the factoring to solve the quadratic equation. Now I want to revise the previous lessons and go through the notes you took before and remember how do we factor. If we want to factor means we want to write this trinomial or this equation with 3 terms into 2 brackets multiplied to get this answer. I want to remind you with the method again, so very quickly. The product should be 8 and the sum should be negative 6. So I'm looking for two numbers. If I multiply them, the answer will be 8. And if I added them together, both, then the answer will be negative 6. So the answer is negative 4 and negative 2. Notice that if we FOIL, like we just distributed both brackets together, again, we will have this. This is how you check you factored correctly. Or you say negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, and negative 4 plus negative 2 is negative 6. So we're good. This is the first step. Second step is as we did in example 1, since we have two brackets, product, and the product of them is 0, then one of them should be 0. If one of them is 0, so we solve separately. So the answer is 4 or 2. Now, here are the solutions we got by solving. How can we check? We need to substitute. You substitute every x in the equation again, and you make sure that it's correct. All right? Pause the video and check your answers and steps, and go try check it out. Okay, everyone, here's example 3. We're talking about some real life applications for the topic. So here we have a diver above the water. You want to jump into the water, and this is the equation. The question is asking you to find the time it takes for the diver to reach the water. First, let's write the equation. As you can see, we have a negative 16 on the coefficient of t squared. T squared is just like x squared. So when we change the letter, don't make this like scare you. So what do we need to do? It's so easy for you when we have it as factored. So we just take a common factor, the greatest common factor out, factor it out, and then it will make your life easier because you're going to have less numbers to think about and less options. Remember, I need numbers that multiply to get -1 and added to give me -1. And keep in mind we have a coefficient for t squared. So the factor is going to be 2t plus 1 t minus 1. Go ahead and FOIL to check the answer is correct or not. All right? So what do we use? We use the product, the zero product property, since we have two brackets. First of all, look at the -8. There's no way for a constant to be 0. That's why you ignore it. Just focus on the brackets. The bracket tells you that one of them will be 0. So let's solve this one. -1 minus 1 over t over 2 over 2. So the answer will be -1 over 2 or t equals to 1. As you can see here, whenever you have a negative, we're talking about t here. T stands for time. Time can't be negative. We wish, right? So this will be excluded because it's cannot be a negative value. So the answer is only 1 second. So what does that mean? The diver would take 1 second to reach the water. How do we check? We substitute and we make sure that the answer is correct. This is the end of lesson 8.6. I want you to check your notes, and this video will stay in the resources in case if you know you need to check anything. You can send us a direct message anytime, and we will reply to you inshallah during the discussion time from 2 to 3 or any available time inshallah. For self-assessment, you will find some documents like worksheets or lesson quiz. This is for you to solve and test your understanding. Have a good day.